Good morning, afternoon, or indeed evening, depending on where you are and when you are. It's back to Absynth. Here we are with another brand new soundset walkthrough, and yes, it's Absynth. It has been a very long time since I did an Absynth soundset. It must be over a year, I should think. Maybe even longer. Anyway, as the good old saying goes, Absynth makes the heart grow fonder. Yes, I just did do that. Okay, so what is Absynth Nostromo? As the soundset is titled, what is it all about? Well, the ethos behind this particular soundset is basically imagining a bunch of old crusty analog gear which is then run through a bunch of even crustier digital sampling station stuff. So your sequential circuits, your ARPs, your Oberheims, all run through some slightly shoddy Ensoniq and Akai early sampling stations to give it that sort of slightly lo-fi feel. So it's lo-fi, it's dark, it's analogy. I've been listening to quite a bit of Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross stuff, like Girl from the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and also Social Network. That's it. Plus Dave Porter's Breaking Bad soundtrack, which I really enjoyed. Have still not seen the actual show itself, but there has to be one of us that hasn't seen it, right? And also listening to some electronica stuff. Boards of Canada is all over this soundset. And also a couple of more obscure artists like Biosphere and I Break Horses, really cool Swedish singer, songwriter who's just taken to using analog synths on her work. Fantastic. Do go and listen to that if you don't already know it. Okay, so enough waffle. Let's just play some sounds and see whether you like them or not, shall we? Okay, so we'll kick off with pianos and keys. This should certainly start us off with a bit of that Boards of Canada vibe anyway. Although I did play that like it was the opening to some kind of old Christian hymn. So that one called Dragon Tattoo probably gives away what the inspiration for that was. There's some nice, disturbing, but also playful sounds in that soundtrack, which are quite fun. Okay, so piano key sounds, very similar in style to a lot of the synth lead sounds as well, so let's go through a few of these. Should give you a feel for where this whole sound set is headed, really, because the leads are quite a crucial part of it. So I've very much been sort of, when people have asked me what the next soundset's like, it's lush and lo-fi is the easiest way I can think of describing it. equipment. Uka. Uka. Interesting name. No, this is one of my favourites. I do like that one. And then another one of my favourites is this one. This is a wonderfully sort of detuned vibe. That is cool. I love that. I love that sound. It doesn't really fit into a lot of music I generally don't write, but I do like it. So pads, not as many pads as there have been on many of my other sound sets. Just trying to create a bit more room for the leads and the sequences really this time around. But there are plenty of sound pads still to be chosen from. Again, a mixture of some nice lush stuff, and there's also some really quite dark and creepy stuff. But I think this one's quite lush, if I remember correctly, which I sometimes do. It was right. Quite a long tail on that one. This is a slightly creepier one. And oh, look, another dragon reference. I clearly was listening to that quite a bit. Yeah, there's a few, actually some of the pads do have a bit of a nod to also the work of John Hopkins, who I'm vaguely obsessed with these days. So if you've heard his Monsters soundtrack... Oh, excuse me, really itchy foot all of a sudden. Sorry, I had to do that. Yes, his Monsters soundtrack and his his recent soundtrack, is it called How I Live Now, or How We Live Now? Something like that. That's an awesome score, and I really do recommend you go and seek it out. Very atmospheric. It's really quite lovely. Oh, that's nice. I'd completely forgotten about that one. Yeah, rather like that. And here's something a bit Boards of Canada again. Much fun, much fun. So there's a bit of crossover between the pads and some of the sequence sounds. There are some gated sequenced pads in there which add a bit of movement. There's a nice crisp top edge to quite a few of them as well. Here's a sound I've called Jonathan. Interesting. It's the name of my brother, should that interest you in the slightest. But I don't think I particularly named it after him. Listening to that, it doesn't remind me of my brother, to be brutally honest. That's quite fun. Municipal. Ooh, so here's some atonal stuff. Intriguing, intriguing. Princess Mary. Sinister. Quartetten. I suspect that's named after Flaskkvartetten, or Flesh Quartet. The Swedish band that do the score to the Swedish TV version of Wallander, which is something I'm very partial to. Not that that sound particularly reflects either their music or the TV series, so must have just been in my head. It's quite a fun filtered thing. Okay, so we'll move on to miscellaneous synth noises. You stabs and hits? We do. Oh, hello, what have we got here? Okay. Always fun. Liking a bit of that. Melodic sequences. What have we got here? That's quite energetic. Not terribly melodic. Ooh, that was interesting at the end there. Fatal Paradise. Yet another cheerily named sequence sound. What have we got here then? So there's quite a lot of velocity difference there. So playing softly. Interesting, interesting. Haken. So this is one of those that's a mixture of pad and sequence, really. Let's try and play this a bit more expressively. Intriguing. So the sequences are quite atmospheric rather than necessarily being the sort of thing that propels along. I mean, there are some more sort of propulsion-based sounds, should we say, things that drive, but they're more adding those sort of like little hints in the background of movement underneath other stuff. That's a little atonal thing. Riding Day. Oh, this is quite sweet. Oh, that's quite fun. And I know Roseville is one of my favourites. I do like that one. I seem to be slightly drawn towards the whole, the more sort of Boards of Canada sounds. That's definitely what's appealed to me about this sort of sound set. That's quite fun too. Fun. Yes, so I'll go on one more then. But yes, there's quite a few sequences in there. But they are very much, excuse me, they are very much that subtly type sound. Oh, beginning to lose my mind. Quickly, Matthew, towards the end, before it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. A few more basses than usual. I've barely put any basses in previous Absynth sound sets, and I felt that needed to be redressed. Especially when you can do stuff like this, which is nice. All good fun. This is quite a nice chunky one. It's got that drift in there. I think this one's sort of like a Korg MS-20 type sound. There's a percussive, obscure bass line kind of thing. So there's some basses. There's a couple of bass lines. There are, yeah, there's a few bass lines in there against the normal bass sounds. Nothing in drums and percussion, which I must admit I will remedy for next time round. Sound effects? Oh, just the one. So soundscapes. We'll finish off with these. Mostly, as is often the case with me, the soundscapes or a little dark. But nothing too drastic, just nice subtle movements mainly, I think. Yeah, nice bit of creepiness. That's a weird one. That's really quite unsettling. That's slightly more subtle, that one, really, isn't it? Yeah, so plenty of creepiness and weirdness and abstractness. This one's a little bit light. This is probably about as light as they get, I would guess, the soundscapes in this soundset. Non-destructive testing. I seem to remember this one's a bit obscure. Yes. All a bit... What? Seaford. For some reason... Oh, that's another one. So yeah, even the soundscapes have some tempo synced, gated kind of elements to them. Winter romance. Why do I feel that this probably isn't going to be terribly romantic? Oh no, it's actually quite nice. I apologise to myself there. That's actually quite pretty. Except for when you deliberately play long notes like that. Ha ha ha. Okay, and we'll finish with young Marco. Nice little bit of intensity there. Yeah, so there you go. That's Absynth Nostromo. Like I say, it has that sort of... There's a blend of analog and digital. Trying to capture some of the warmth of old synths and the processing of sort of lo-fi samplers. Eerie, dark, atmospheric. Excellent sort of vibe for anything. If you're writing something that needs a dark vibe but you don't want to go too far down the sort of the out and out horror route, it's got that sort of thing. So there's tension in there. It probably does tension rather than horror. But there's also some quite pretty sounds in there. So if you wanted to do some lo-fi electronica, it's got all those nice leads and pads in there as well. Yeah, so this will be coming out this Friday, which is, the 22nd, 23rd of August, something like that. And at the same time, I'm actually going to be launching my annual summer sale. So there's going to be lots of bargains to be picked up there. So as well as individual sound sets, the bundles will be in the sale as well. Except for the new Zebra bundle, because that's only just been released last month. And the same goes for the two Zebra Elysium sound sets. They won't be in the sale either, because it's a bit unfair for anyone that bought it last month to then see that it's on offer almost immediately afterwards, when they've been so beautifully loyal and faithful and purchased it when it came out. for which I'm eternally grateful. I'm always eternally grateful for people who watch my videos, who buy my sound sets, who send me nice messages and send me links to music they've written with it. That's always cool. So please do continue to share your thoughts and your music with me. I'm always fascinated. I genuinely am fascinated. So my sounds get used on some amazing things and some obscure things, and I love them all equally, and I really do hope that you feel that you can share it with me whenever you like. So thanks for watching and listening, and I hope you've heard something here that you like and that you feel is going to fit into your workflow, and hooray, Absynth is back. There will be another sound set quite shortly, actually. Next month I will be releasing the next in the Omnisphere Horizon series. That's because I'm pretty much going to have the whole of October off. I'm getting married in October, and then I'm going on honeymoon. So I'm going to be slightly out of action during that period, so there won't be anything new from me until then, probably late November. So hang in there. Try not to miss me too much in October, and I will see you shortly with another one of these walkthrough videos for Omnisphere Horizon 4. Exciting. Okay, thanks again. Bye.